let's kick off Dark Souls, the board game, because it's currently on Kickstarter. It's being done by
Steamforged.
Steamforged, thank you. And they are officially licensed by Bandai Namco for... Bandai and Namco.
It's, the makers of Guild Ball is who Steamforged are.
Yeah.
In case you know about Guild Ball but aren't familiar with
Guild Ball is actually surprisingly popular. Apparently people like it. I don't know anything about it.
I know nothing about it other than it's kind of like it's a fantasy sports game a la Blood Bowl, but I don't know how derivative of Blood Bowl it is.
We will be covering Kingdom Death at some point. I don't want to go too in depth with it today.
Are we not talking about Kingdom of Death?
Not today.
Oh, good, because I was just about to read about that.
Okay,
the link you sent me. Strong horror, sexual and deadly themes.
We're going to probably reference it simply because, from what I understand, and perhaps this is wrong, the board game for Dark Souls plays similarly-ish to Kingdom Death. So
this is the way I like to think about it. Kingdom Death was a game that was inspired heavily by Dark Souls, Berserk, a lot of anime and manga, really grotesque themes and
nightmarish horror.
Nightmare horror is their main deal, but I feel like they took a lot of inspiration from Dark Souls as well.
Well, whenever I explain what Kingdom Death is, I always say it's like Dark Souls meets Monster Hunter meets a roguelike.
Yeah,
is the best analogy I can give.
And the way I look at it, from what I've seen about Dark Souls board game, is Dark Souls is more of a dungeon crawler, whereas Kingdom Death is more about your settlement and and progressing a civilization over time in that sort of condition. Whereas the Dark Souls board game is going to be about individuals, and I feel like from what I've seen, Dark Souls as the Dark Souls board game will probably be easier to be like, I'm gonna pick up and play with a few people for this session, whereas Kingdom Death is more of okay, you can play for a session, but then it's you're addicted and you want to play more and more. And
That's
more,
fair,
and you keep building a campaign over time.
Guys, these playing pieces are epic.
So that was a couple of things I wanted to mention about the models, at least the 3D versions of the models that we have available on the Kickstarter, which we will link in the description as well.
That's the guy from the Legion list, the three-headed beast.
No, it's not quite. It's just a gargoyle, man.
So the thing about the pieces, first off, I think that they're actually pretty well done. I read in the FAQ for the Dark Souls board game that they are either going to be single piece or snap fit. So you don't require a lot of modeling, which I think is from a more marketable board game is an intelligent way to
especially one that's targeted at people who play video games a lot.
Exactly. You don't need a lot of hobby expertise or knowledge to play. I mean, you're not going to get Kingdom Death level pieces, but that's not what they're selling. Yeah. So that's pretty sweet. The thing that I think is interesting, it's the Dark Souls board game. They have not subscribed to 1, 2, or 3. It's the whole just Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3.
So I mean, the core gameplay experience, from what I understand, is based, at least the stuff they've shown so far, is based around a boss or two from Dark Souls 3 and starting classes from Dark Souls 3. That's what I've seen.
So actually the interesting thing, so they've got some from Dark Souls 3, but then they also have the what the hell was his name? The Gaping Dragon as one of the add-ons. They've got as one of the stretch goals that's already been hit. They've got the Pursuer. They've got the Smelter Demon. They've got a little bit of background. Mike and I are, I would say, fans of the Dark Souls series. So
I gotta correct you here.
Oh,
I am a fan of the Dark Souls series. Steve is a fucking scrub who's only played Dark Souls 2.
That's not true. I played some of Dark Souls
1. You haven't finished Dark Souls 1. You barely started Dark Souls 3.
Still counts.
You haven't played Bloodborne more than half an hour.
That's not true. I played a couple hours into Bloodborne.
Have you completed it?
No.
Nowhere near. I don't even think you beat the first boss.
You're a dabbler.
Maybe you beat the first boss then.
I beat the first couple bosses.
In Bloodborne?
Yeah.
All right,
so guys, I knew Steve before he became famous on YouTube land.
There we go.
In the hobby days, and he's a glory hunter.
That's true. It's just all about glory.
If he was in football or soccer, I guess he'd be supporting Leicester City right now, right? I support Leicester City because I'm born in Leicester. Leicester, born and bred. Only team I've ever supported, even when they were shit. And now they're doing great. It's amazing. This man texted me, "Come on, Leicester." Glory boy.
I don't even
Glory
know what
boy.
that
Glory
means.
hunter.
See, he doesn't even know what these he's got a little list of like the stretch goals and stuff. He doesn't know who Calamite is. He doesn't know what the Guardian Dragon is. He doesn't know.
Hold on, I know what the Guardian Dragon is.
It's a dragon.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's a dragon.
Yeah, he's a dragon.
What's it guarding?
Stuff.
Exactly. Fuck you. He doesn't know who the 4 kings are. They're a big fucking deal.
Anyway, listen here, Sonny. The point I'm getting at is that they haven't subscribed to 1, 2, or 3. The game is covering all of the.
Mike, would I be safe in saying that Steve is kind of the Logan of Dark Souls?
No, I would not say that.
Of anything other than Dark Souls 2, maybe. he like, admittedly, Steve played a lot of Dark Souls 2. The worst one.
I played
Still a good game, mind you, but the worst one.
Well, I got kind of into the PvP scene for Dark Souls 2. Like,
yeah, because it was the worst one.
It was pretty hilarious because our kind of mutual friend online, Lee, was like, I'm so good at Dark Souls, I can beat anybody. And so we dueled, and I crushed her every time. It was amazing. I felt so good. Oh, yeah, lag.
It was lag.
Lag.
Steve, you're taking all the credit. It was lag.
It was lag, dedoxing.
You got leg stabs. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So we've participated with the Dark Souls series, and I think the interesting thing is like they've got a pre-existing IP. So obviously they're launching on Kickstarter to try and say, hey, Dark Souls community, we're doing something that's targeted at you.
Yeah.
And then I think like the game. I don't know enough about the game to say whether or not it's going to be good. I don't think anybody does.
So actually, they had a demo at it was, I don't know, some con. It's in the video. Like there was a demo. Okay. They had it. I fucking don't know, but they seem to have some interesting things because like it's a dungeon crawler. So you explore tiles and there are new tiles every time. Like it's basically it randomly generates the dungeons for you.
Okay.
And then when you get to the boss, you obviously fight the boss. And the way the system works is like a lot of people were saying it actually captures the feel of Dark Souls pretty well. Because, okay, so the way it works, from my understanding, you have one bar. Like, your character sheet has one bar.
Sure.
You have stamina on the one end and health on the other end. Okay. And as they deplete towards the middle, if you run out, if they touch, you die.
Oh, okay.
So, and the way it works is you actually have to, like, blow your turn resting to restore stamina.
Okay.
Or using an Estus flask to restore health.
Okay.
So you don't get to move during that time, or like it's your whole turn.
Wow.
So that sort of actually captures the feel of like you have to take a second to do that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when I first heard about it, I was like, that doesn't sound like the game at all. Like you don't die when you're out of stamina. But if you're, when you think about it, like if your health is low enough and you're out of stamina, that means you can't roll. That means you can't block. You're dead, right? Basically the same thing, right?
Now, one of the things that I think is pretty sweet is the models for the game. They look pretty nice. Mm-hmm. I mean, and they very well represent the game models. In fact, to the point where I wonder if they were given some of the 3D renders.
It's possibly like.
I mean,
I'd assume so.
Yeah, fair enough. And it looks interesting. It's intriguing. Now, the one thing so typically speaking, I've gotten into a lot of Kickstarters, like a lot of them.
It's true, he has.
But. And this would be normally something I'd snap up just because it's Dark Souls IP and it's a board game in the vein of like something we'd probably play and try out. However, the one hesitation I have with it is it seems fairly expensive, especially when you consider exchange rate. So
what is the
define fairly expensive?
So for the core game, although you do get some of the stretch goals, and some of the stretch goals are all right, it's 80 what the hell is it called? Pounds. Like,
hold on.
I don't know if it's
I'll turn on my cellular data.
I've already done the work, which works out to 146 Canadian dollars or 115 US. Additionally, you're paying between 7 and 15 for shipping pounds, again, which is somewhere between $27 Canadian or $21 US. And then the 4 expansions that include the Gaping Dragon, the Black Dragon, Calamite, Guardian Dragon, and 4 Kings, they're 28 quid a piece. So
what's my all-in if I want to go for the top pledge?
If you want the game and the 4 listed expansions, including shipping,
of course, why not?
You're looking at
how many pounds?
£207.
£207,
which is 377 Canadian or about 296 US, which is a lot of money for a board game. And then
is that gonna be it? Or are they going to release anything else afterwards?
That's a good question. I think that
And how much gameplay would you get from the 4 expansions in the board game?
I mean, so if we compare, I don't think it's a fair comparison when you look at what we got for Kingdom Death, because I think he totally under-budgeted what he should have charged for Kingdom Death.
Sure, but like you look at like Kingdom Death retail is more than that for just the game.
That's true, like but my in on Kingdom Death was about that.
Mine was more than that.
And I mean, I got the game and like 11 expansions.
Yeah. But I see, the thing is, like, I think that this is a different enough play experience.
Fair.
Like, I mean...
Like, the thing is, I don't know, like, maybe it is a wonderful game and maybe it's totally worth it. I don't actually know. And the stretch...
It's hard to say.
For the core game, $115 Canadian is actually not that bad when you look at the stretch goals, because there's actually quite a lot of stretch goals. You get the Pursuer and you get... There's a whole bunch of extra, like... chumps that you get with it, not like bosses. The only boss
the core game contains 3 boss models.
Yeah, but in terms of the stretch goals, there's only 1 boss stretch goal, and then everything else is like extra scrub guys.
I have a new question because I don't do Kickstarting.
Sure.
Right. If I miss the boat with the Kickstart, is that it? Will I ever have a chance to get in and buy the products after the fact?
Depends on the Kickstarter.
So most Kickstarters, if you miss the boat on the Kickstarter, You're done. However, the Kickstarters changed their policy and the way their system works, that some Kickstarters I've seen allow late pledges. Right. Normally you get a little bit worse of a deal, like it'll cost you a little bit more.
It's a one-shot goal typically.
Usually. Or you wait until retail.
I always assumed it was just to literally get them kickstarted, and then once they got the initial, it was to help fund the development and the stuff. And then once they got it going, they would just keep selling at full retail, but the people that came in on the Kickstart would essentially get it for like a sale price.
No. Normally that
was my impression.
You get the items as your rewards, and the way they structure it is they say basically there's no guarantees in Kickstarter.
Right.
You know, if the project completely fails, well, you were putting money into it to try and invest in this idea of a thing.
That's if it fails after it's succeeded.
Fair. If they don't hit their stretch goal or their initial funding target, then nobody gets charged. They don't succeed with the campaign. It's done.
Yeah.
However, these guys are well over $1 million pounds.
Super successful already.
And their starting goal was $50,000. So they have no problems. Like they're going to funded the game for sure.
Well, I think they have also more reason to succeed because of the backing of the IP.
That's true.
And the IP would be pretty. They would be pretty scary. But I don't think they'd want this to fail because it would reflect badly on them, right? So I'm guessing.
I don't think anybody wants the game to fail.
How big is the game outside? You know, the video game itself, Mike.
Huge.
It
used to be like a cult game, but now it
became a big thing. Like it's now it's like now
I don't see that
like AAA level game.
Right.
Which
not yet. No.
So on the one hand, like I'd like to try it out and play the game. On the other hand, I mean, so $400 investment on a game for us isn't that bad. Like the amount of money I've invested into various games.
Channel subscribers, how would you like a new series of content on this board game? Pledge to the Patreon link below and get it.
We don't have a Patreon
yet.
It's
okay. Everyone says it on the internet. I'm just being hip.
Fair.
Well, I mean, in fairness, if we did have a Patreon,
this would be something we would use the money for. That's true.
But
so folks, you want to see it? Pledge.
So I'm going to grab this for a second so I can kind of review a little bit.
It's yours anyway, for sure.
That's true. But so I mean, the thing is, they still have 24 days left in the Kickstarter. They're at £1.13 million, which is
insane.
Roughly what, 2 million Canadian ish. Like they're at 12,000 backers.
It's like what, 22 times their goal, maybe.
Like it's like massive for how much they're looking at doing. And
Dark Souls.
The stretch goals are actually pretty reasonable. Like you can tell that they had a pretty good idea as to what they were doing when they were coming up with the Kickstarter, because I think that they're very clear on what they are capable of producing.
Interesting thing is that this is kind of only scratching the surface of like Dark Souls as a thing too.
That's true.
A lot of places that they could expand to.
I mean, to me though, this game, like they probably didn't need to Kickstart it. This is probably mostly gravy.
Price point though, because all the Kickstarters I've seen to date, and the reason I don't do them is just literally time. I don't have the time to like delve into too many hobbies.
Makes sense,
right? And board gaming is something I love. I love board gaming, but I just don't have the time to dedicate to board gaming anymore, right?
Yeah,
but like most Kickstarters I've seen, they've been like good deals for what you get. So this is a big dollar investment, and those models look good. But I'm just wondering if they look $400 good, because for $400 for Kickstarter, I'd expect a huge amount of volume.
I mean, $400, you're getting a lot. You're getting like multiple large bosses.
And I mean, to be fair, the biggest, I mean, of that $400, the most amount of money is going towards the 4 big expansions.
Right.
I think to me, if I was in a position where I could Kickstart it right now, I probably would, but I might. This is one of the few that I would probably not go all in on. I'd probably go with the starter level and then get the stretch goals and see how I liked it. I know that the expansions are going to cost more at retail, but I think that I would want to know that the game is where I want it to be first.
Yeah.
Just because I think the price point on the expansion is fairly high. That being said, no, I just want to throw my money away. That being said, I like the game.
That's what I said.
In Dark Souls 1, like just memory wise, the Gaping Dragon.
Well, that would be his department though.
Fair. The Gaping Dragon was like probably the most impressive boss I fought. I didn't get all the way through Dark Souls 1, so I mean there's probably other things that are awesome as well. But like that fight is something that kind of is a standout of the series to me so far. So I would want that one, and I think that somebody who's like a religious fanatic about all of the games and have played them back and forth might want all of the expansions, and they can maybe justify the cost. But like $51 Canadian add-ons for expansions is a fairly high price point.
I mean, the thing is that you're not getting just the boss, even though you're getting a boss, you're getting a bunch of other minis, you're getting a bunch of other like probably gear cards and stuff
too. $50 is a very reasonable price for expansion.
I mean, if I don't know because the thing is
like. What the fuck are you talking about?
Nah, $50 is a good price for an expansion.
Oh wait, hold on. There's also the Last Giant,
fucking Manus,
and the Executioner's Chariot as £30.
No one actually cares about the Executioner's Chariot. It's stupid.
Fair, but like £30 upgrades. So actually, your total in is another 100 or 90 quid.
Sure, but it's fucking awesome. You get Manus.
But that puts you at $500 for this board game.
You're already in for 4. Who cares about the extra one after that? Right?
I mean, well, actually probably more than that. But.
Look, you are just not a true believer. You're not a true fan of the Souls series because all you've played is fucking Dark Souls 2.
It's true.
You need to play the real games in the series. You need to finish 1.
That being said,
3.
I think that like their stretch goals they seem pretty reasonable. Like in terms of they're giving a fair amount of extra stuff for the stretch goals. So, and there's still I think 1 left to be revealed.
I'm shocked that they've hit the dollar amount that they did because
it's ridiculous.
In all honesty,
6 days.
That's a huge investment.
I mean, that's if you wanted everything.
When you think about it, like
why wouldn't you? If you're a fan,
well,
why wouldn't you? That's a huge investment for a game system. You don't even know how it's going to play.
Well, like I said,
they don't know how long it's going to last.
In the demos.
Like what's the shelf life, right? It's very interesting. That's a big. I'm used to paying through my nose. I'm a GW fanboy through and through, right? I pay stupid money for stupid product, and I love it.
But like you think about this too,
even this makes me think.
Even a $400 game, you pull together with like 3 friends that like Dark Souls.
That's totally different.
You've already spent probably like $600 on the games because everyone buys them multiple times because they're great. Not actually, but you and it's a multiplayer game. Like, yeah, sure, you can play it solo, but like when it comes to this, you just pull your money, and it's okay, now we have.
Okay, so that changes the whole discussion though, because if like let's say the total Canadian dollar value wise is $500.
Yeah.
If we had 3 or 4 people go in on it, well, that's a different discussion than just one person looking at it going, maybe I should Kickstarter, maybe I shouldn't. If you have a group of 4 people and you average out the cost, I mean, we've Kickstarted things we've got no value out of for more.
But don't pull a Simon. Don't pull a Simon.
I don't know who Simon is.
He was a great guy
in England. Is he dead?
Oh, he's dead to us, man. Okay, if we ever find him, he's dead. Great guy in England University, and he was the only one that stayed local. So the rest of us went back to our hometowns.
Okay.
And went back in the second year, and he's gone. And we left all our stuff with him.
Oh, I see.
All our armies.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd have to have, tracking chips in each other just to make sure that no one bails, but that's not too hard.
But
right?
like now the counter argument to that though, to my original
I think it's Facebook now.
I think it's fairly.
I'm talking about when I was 18, man. It's a long time ago, decades. You guys probably weren't even born.
So okay. Anyway, what I was saying was though, the counter argument to the high price point is that if the gameplay is there and you can get a couple guys in on it, then $500 isn't that bad. Like. I mean,
it's not 500. It's 125,
exactly,
85 each or whatever. In which case, it's a bargain. I mean,
and I mean, we would get the value out of that pretty quickly. Like that wouldn't be a problem.
What's the longest playing board game that you have ever played? And same goes to you. Longest playing board game that you've just played the most.
That we've played or purchased?
Played. What's the one board game you've just played the most?
Which one that I've played the most, or the one I expect we will play the most?
No. I'm not talking about the future. No one can read the future. I'm talking about in your life. Which board game do you think you've played the most? Like Monopoly, Game of Life.
I mean, historically speaking, I would have to say we put the most time into Risk because we played. Did? Yeah, we played so many games of Risk. It's stupid.
Who's we?
Myself, you've probably played a few times.
I played a few with you guys.
So you've chucked in probably the most hours on Risk.
A lot of my friends, like my buddy Joe and a bunch of other people, like we used to play Risk like every week.
And then we stopped because otherwise we wouldn't be friends anymore.
Yeah. There were a couple table flip moments.
So that's how Risk goes.
Maybe followed by what's the next hours logged?
Maybe Small World. Small World's been pretty big.
And for you?
Probably Dominion.
Dominion was another big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a lot of value out of Dominion. I mean, I had a large amount of expansions for it, and it was still we put hours and hours and hours.
I mean, I've had a few like 5-hour play sessions of Kingdom Death.
We had a couple of 13-hour play sessions in Kingdom Death.
For me, it was
me included.
Yes.
When the fuck was that?
When we sat down, we started at like 1, and then we ended up. Nobody looked at the time, and it was 3 a.m. when we stopped.
That's 2 hours.
No,
1 in the afternoon. PM. Okay. See, that was probably one of the sessions that I felt was a 5-hour session.
Yeah.
Because I just love that fucking game.
I think honestly, hours-wise, we've probably clocked 50 hours into Kingdom Death.
Collectively or each?
Collectively, like as a group. So each.
Mine was Hero Quest. I started playing at the age of 10, and I played it until the age of 20, and guaranteed I played it a minimum once or twice a week.
Well, and that's the thing. and like if you
10 years solid. Just played the crap out of it. Loved it.
And if you get that many games out of it, then yeah, it's absolutely worth the money.
It's like practically free.
I don't get the skepticism. Like it's a fucking Dark Souls board game, and it's got good preliminary reviews. It's only going to get better.
So I guess part of it is in our case, we have Kingdom Death.
That's true.
And so like I look at it going, well, are we going to? First off, we're not going to stop playing Kingdom Death.
No.
And are we going to? Would we rather play that at times than Kingdom Death?
He's that guy.
At times, probably.
You're that guy from the films. Disaster movies, alien invasion movies, and it's the president's being advised by and there's always that one dinky advisor that says, no. In Ghostbusters, you was the health inspector in Ghostbusters that made him shut down the reactor.
No.
You're that guy. You're that voice. You're that voice when it comes to dark.
I'm skeptic in this one.
So was he. He said it was a hoax. There was no ghost. It's all fake.
But the thing is, like, I bought in. We bought into Kingdom Death as like really on faith. Where like the models are going to be cool. I expected the game to be dog shit. Yeah. I expected the game to be.
Why did you expect the game to be dog shit?
The reason why I expected the game to be dog shit is because I knew that they knew what they were doing with the models. I knew the models were going to be phenomenal, but making a game is very difficult. And for one guy, I didn't have the faith that he was going to produce. Something like nothing like that.
It was one guy, but he had other people. Like it wasn't a George Lucas situation. It was a George Lucas and a New Hope situation. He had people. Like advising him.
Jimi Hendrix was one guy. Look what he did.
Fair enough, but like
Prince was one guy.
But the thing is, you look at Kickstarter and you look at how many misses there are for the amount of hits there are, and like I expected the models to be great. I expected the game to be playable, but I didn't think that it was going to be that great. And then when we got it, it blew my mind. Like it was everything I ever wanted in a board game and more. Like it is. And I think calling it a board game is a disservice to what it is.
Have you played Hero Quest?
I think I played once or twice.
I played Hero Quest. I enjoyed it. It was definitely. Is the thing. Although in my case,
comment below if you want to see Hero Quest played on the channel. You don't even have to pay. I have the game.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's gonna be difficult because
I have the game and the expansion.
But yeah, okay. Like if you have the game, that takes that away. Actually, Hero Quest was probably my first experience to first exposure to like Games Workshop.
You got me into the hobby
because I remember vividly like Chaos Warriors from and that's
that pose. Oh, it was this one.
Yeah, and I probably originally started playing Chaos because of that, whether I knew about it or not.
Hero Quest got me to GW.
I mean, like, so I guess the thing is, going in blind with the Dark Souls game, I would risk, I would risk the initial cost, like the 80 quid, and because that's what they call it, right? Quid. Yeah. All right.
It's quid.
See,
pounds, or you can say pounds.
I'm down with the English lingo.
See, I just don't like it sounds wrong when you say quid. Fair. Because you don't have the accent.
Well, fair.
I'm not saying it is wrong. It just sounds wrong.
I see that price point and I go, okay.
I thought you passed it off pretty well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I enjoyed it. I thought it wasn't unnatural. It wasn't forced.
Well, I just didn't know what else to call it. Like that's what I think it's called.
This is very difficult for me to do because coming in, brand new today as a guest on the channel, but having seen the channel, you are you're the rock. And speaking against you,
talking about me or Steve?
The memory.
Oh, okay.
Because you nail it with the intro video.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I've never seen a man just so calmly, amazingly, just stand there, just fapping off into the wind and just owning it, just owns it. I don't think even Sean Connery at his peak as 007 could have pulled it off.
Yeah, clearly that's yeah.
So for me to speak against you, good sir, this is hard for me.
He definitely couldn't have pulled it off quite the same. That's
I'm gonna flip this table pretty soon.
Yeah, I think, wow.
I'd
love to see that.
But like the initial cost, okay, like around $115 Canadian.
Yeah, right.
Break all his shit.
Would be okay. I'd be willing to risk that.
We're talking about flipping the table.
Well, no, I'm talking about the Kickstarter.
Okay.
I'm a little hesitant to look at it and be like, that's something I'd want to all in on because like. And I'm the guy who all ins on Kickstarters pretty much all the time.
Because you all in on too many Kickstarters.
I mean, that might be it too.
You're burnt out on Kickstarter.
I might be a little burnt out on Kickstarter.
Like I haven't Kickstarted anything since Kingdom Death.
It's a lot of money, man. Though.
And so I've been like,
well, I think you should Kickstart this.
What is the most you'd go in on, Steve? Dollar amount.
The most I have.
For this Kickstarter. What is the most dollars you would pledge to this?
To me, like just on like a whim, going, hey, I'd risk this much money for the game and the expansions. I mean,
$100?
No, they could get probably $200 or $300 out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just when you start hitting that $400 or $500 mark, and kind of
just go halvesies. You'll get the full set between you.
I mean,
I just start feeling uncomfortable with that because I don't.
You don't want to share with them?
Well, it's not that. It's
one thing I do agree with you is like I feel like there are times that we would want to play Dark Souls over Kingdom Death.
Really? Okay.
I don't think that's going to be like. I think that's probably like sub 40% of the time.
Is Logan a Dark Souls guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Logan. Well, Logan also really enjoys Kingdom Death. So
yeah.
I honestly.
Is Logan more of a Dark Souls guy than Steve? How would you rank between those two?
Logan is more of a Dark Souls guy than Steve because he actually fucking plays them.
Anyway,
we said 500 all in, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And you're willing to put in about 200.
Well, I don't have 200 right now to put in. That's another problem.
Well, not 200, 166.
I see. But
between the three of you.
So if the game ends up being stellar, then that might be something I'd even look at going and buying at retail. I just think that they might have. And I mean, obviously their Kickstarter is going to be obviously successful. They've gotten millions of dollars already.
Yeah.
So my opinion,
who gets to keep the game if you guys win thirds each, 166 each? Hypothetically, who gets to keep? Do you rotate?
Probably leave it here.
We normally play here
because we play it here more. Like, although I mean, there are instances like where, especially since it's like Dark Souls is probably more modular and less like it's more of a pickup game. I tend to move around more. I have the car, so
I mean, honestly, I don't think it really matters. Like we would figure it out. It's not.
Yeah.
None of us are really like super possessive over that kind of stuff. I don't think it matters.
No.
But yeah, you would be. You're just saying it now. But
no,
you're the true Dark Souls fan. As soon as it came, you'd be like, mine. It's my precious.
So like that's the thing. It's like, would we? I question whether or not I would get enough use out of it, especially because we already had Kingdom Death.
So then we wouldn't leave it here.
Yeah. And I question whether or not the expansions are worth the money. I think that if the game is there, then it's worth it. But like that's the kind of thing I don't immediately know with all the expansions.
I think, Steve, you underestimate your greatness because I was with you today at Subway, and I saw you order your sandwich masterfully, no hesitation, straight up, boom. This is what I'm having. This is what I'm eating. But we had a discussion, and it wasn't too long before those days that you ordered a different sandwich just as masterfully with just as much relish.
That's true.
Right? And you enjoyed that sandwich like no other sandwich until you came to the sandwich that we had today.
That's true.
Correct?
I can't argue with that.
And why would it be any different with a board game?
See, the problem is that Steve hasn't set up the Patreon yet, so we can't live off of the channel playing board games for everyone to watch. If we had that set up, then we would have the time... to play all these board games.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's all your fucking fault, Steve.
I guess.
Get your shit together, man.
So I'm going, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to, A, try and get you to pay money for it so I can enjoy it. And B, I'm going to watch I'm definitely going to keep an eye on the Kickstarter and see if they come up with any more play videos, any more information, like new models. I want to know like as much information that I can get. Like it is something I'm going to intently watch. And then... hopefully you've decided to spend money on it and I don't have to. But otherwise maybe we find a way to kickstart at least the base game. because I'm interested in trying it out. I have faith that they can come up with something that's playable. I guess the difference with this and like Kingdom Death though is the backup with Kingdom Death is ultimately I'm gonna end up with a bunch of badass models. These are more board game pieces, although not that they're bad board game pieces. They look nice, but they're not. It's not the same as like the Kingdom Death stuff as far as the model is.
Kingdom Death does have a lot in terms of both variety.
And when I kickstarted that, I kickstarted with the idea that like, well, if the game's shit, at least I've got this. So that's also like part of it, I suppose. But I mean, that being said, I could be totally wrong. It could be the greatest game ever, and I just don't know, right?
Tell you what, mate. Invest $100 with us today,
and you can save
these guys
4 African children.
I was just thinking going in with Mike and Logan, let's just buy this shit and let's just get it going.
I just have to call attention to Steve's spelling of pursuer.
Okay.
He spells it Persuerer.
To be fair, I just wrote in like one line. I was scribbling. Leave me alone.
Pursuer.
To be fair, you shouldn't be able to read my handwriting. It is garbage.
It's true because I only know this is 4 kings because Mike mentioned it's 4 kings, but
yeah, it could easily be wings or lings.
Or you, or is this like Is this some kind of native curse? Like what's going on?
I was only able to deduce Calamite as fast as I could because I actually know the goddamn boss.
Oh, Steve, I'm disappointed, mate. I don't know. You're not going to see from here, but like,
well, we could.
I'm taking back my I was impressed with the way you used the word quid.
Okay.
And then I realized you've actually written it down, and you've written it down phonetically.
How would you spell quid?
Like right there.
Okay, but I don't know how to draw the symbol. Is the problem? It's like a backwards.
So when you spelt the word quid, I thought you just knew the word quid.
No, I do know the word quid,
but you wrote it down.
I wrote it down too because I didn't know how to draw the symbol for the actual money value.
Pound?
Yeah, I don't know how to draw
like
that.
a squiggly L.
Yeah, well. Yeah, exactly. Do you see that last part where you're like all over the place? That's the problem. So I wrote quid because I can't draw the symbol.
Right.
There we go. But yeah, so anyway, I think that wraps up the discussion on the Dark Souls board game. And leaves us. Well,
may I just say, channel subscribers, that I watch these videos and I'm like, great content. You have no idea how hard it is to make content. My ass is numb. I haven't felt my ass in the last half an hour. I am getting shooting tendrils of pain all the way to. I can't even feel my toes right now.
Why don't we take a couple minute break?
If there was an earthquake,
because that would make me melt less, and also my ass would recover.
So let's take a couple minute break
right now.
It's probably a good idea.
We have to escape. Where are we going?
We're gonna take a 5-minute break.
All right, guys. We'll see you back in 5. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe.
This is probably going to be edited
I like you
out.
already. Like